A waltz of words dance off Kurt Fuschel's fingertips. Onto the pages of his memoirs, taking the 69-year-old retiree from Rocky Point back to his homeland of Austria, a country that was once his prison.
I no longer could go to school with other children.
It was 1938. Fuschel was just 7. A time when being Jewish under Adolf Hitler's regime meant discrimination, danger, and death. On Kristallnacht, better known as the Night of Broken Glass, the Nazis marched through Germany and Austria, set fire to synagogues, destroyed Jewish homes and stores, and sent 30,000 men into concentration camps. A haunting hint of the mass murder to come.
It was fairly clear to those who had their eyes open, like my father, that people had better get out.
But there was no way out for most adult Jews because tight immigration quotas in many countries wouldn't let them in. Alarmed by the fiery cruelty of Kristallnacht, Jews and Quakers in England begged the parliament to offer sanctuary to Jewish children from countries Hitler had invaded. England's government agreed, launching the Kindertransport, a massive rescue operation that moved 10,000 children to safety. Fuschel's parents, Rudolf and Olga, signed up their only child to board the mission of mercy.
I do remember looking out of the train at my parents who were standing outside the window, and I think my father told me to smile. I did so, and this I was told later. An SS officer was passing by, said, "So young and already a hero."
A little boy facing an uncertain future, and his parents struggling with a heart-wrenching choice.
They made the decision to send their child away, which was one of the hardest decisions I think a parent can ever make.
But survival meant separation. Parents tried to pack a lifetime of advice and love into a few moments before sending their children off to England and into the arms of foster families and caretakers at hostels.
It was a sad farewell, of course.
Kurt Goldberger of Hicksville,
we were very scared.
and wife Margaret understand the pain of parting with one's parents. They were both Kindertransport children. He fled Austria. She escaped Germany.
My parents both took me to the station, and there were a lot of children there, and a lot of the children were crying.
I hope I would have the courage to do what my parents did, and the other parents did, to let their children go.
The parents always say, look, it won't be for long, we'll either join you in England or we'll find a place to go.
It was a promise few parents would be able to keep. Shortly after the last Kindertransport train departed for England in September 1939, World War II erupted, and Hitler's final solution began with a vengeance. By war's end, 6 million Jews were killed, and 90% of the Kindertransport children had become orphans.
Saved my life for sure.
Fuschel was one of the lucky ones. His foster parents, Percy and Mariam Cohen, and foster brother John, opened their home and hearts to him for 9 years. Fuschel reunited with his parents in France after the war.
It's been 63 years since the Kindertransport children journeyed to safety. Today, more than 100 of the Kinder live here on Long Island. For decades, many kept their stories to themselves because they didn't want to dwell on a painful past. But some, including Kurt Fuschel, are breaking their silence now because there's an important lesson to be learned from their stories of escape and exile, of cruelty and kindness.
As a warning, because we still see in the papers ethnic cleansing and prejudice against certain people, whatever, illegal immigrants, and you know, the danger's still there. And so I would like people that when they see something like this happening, that people will protest, write letters. If necessary, give people a home for a while. The children are important, and it pays handsomely, not perhaps in money, but in emotional dividends to help a child become their true self and their best self.
And who would know better than this little boy of 7 who was given the gift of survival in treacherous times by birth parents who had the courage to send him away, and a foster family who had the compassion to take him in. Virginia Huey, News 12, Long Island.